All right, Brad
On a roll,
Arthur.
baby.
Brad Arthur is backing son Jacob Arthur to do a job for the Eels in their must-win semi-final against the Raiders. Despite being named, there are concerns that number one halfback Mitch Moses could be vulnerable, given he suffered a heavy concussion in last week's loss to the Panthers.
We need to make sure, that we've got some positional changes that we can make on the bench.
And last week shows that you've got to have a reserve halfback.
Oh, well, not so much a halfback. You just need to be able to make changes to your spine. We were caught out last year. Unfortunately, we didn't have Rudy.
In the unlikely event that Mitch doesn't pull up well tomorrow, is Jake definitely in?
Yeah, well, Jake will play, but we haven't even talked about that. At the end of the day, we're planning on Mitchie playing, and we'll just see what happens from there. But Mitchie's pretty confident.
And Jake's ready?
Yeah, well, he's trained all year. Like at the moment, he's just preparing for his job, which is off the bench. He might get on, he might not, but it's just what it is.
Yeah, so son Jacob Arthur named on the bench, I suppose, to play that 14 role. He's a genuine number 7 or half. I find it a bit interesting. I'd probably rather have a Cartwright or something like that on the bench myself. How do you guys see this? Is this the right call or not?
I'm not going to bag Jacob Arthur, because I think he's a year or two away from being a really good first grade NRL halfback and a regular one. I think the criticism of him on social media was way out of order early in the season.
Agree.
Having said that, he did play poor when Mitchell Moses went off the other night, made a couple of blues. And I thought Brad Arthur, his dad, would have at least considered doing something else with the bench as a result of that game. But he's a terrific kid, and look, if he gets out there, I'm sure he'll...
It's not his fault, Buzz, is it?
No,
it's not. It is. I mean, even Nathan Brown...
I think it's the right call.
You think it's the right call? Why? Based on what?
Because, as Brad said, he's trained for that role all year.
What role?
Backing up Mitch Moses.
But if Mitch plays, you don't need...
But surely there's a concern over Mitch Moses.
But you're not going to carry an extra player because the guy's been concussed.
Why not?
Before.
Why wouldn't you have...
So he's going to go off with concussion
Why would you
again?
not have coverage for Mitch Moses in case he gets injured or goes on with concussion?
I'll tell you where it's on.
Brad just said then he may or may not be used.
Yeah.
So he's willing to not have him come on the field.
Which could be
if he has
detrimental
Which
too.
makes it a high-risk play, because you've got four-man bench rotation. If you're only going to play 3 of them against the Raiders pack, who are the key to Canberra's victory, that pack of Canberra. So if you're only going to run on 3 forwards and you've got to keep a 4th there, on the odd chance that your halfback goes down injured, Brady, there's no other team that's sitting there with a pure halfback on their bench just in case their halfback goes down. There's no doubt.
Teams have carried outside backs, and with due respect,
but outside backs can play wing, centre.
With due respect to Bryce Cartwright, he hasn't exactly set the world on fire this year.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that.
Mitch is a big body. Jake's a big body. He doesn't have to play halfback. He can come on as players.
I think, Reddy, though, I think when you look at the matchups in this game, I think we could say the Canberra bench is stronger, in that they have a genuine 14 in Tom Starling, who can play dummy half. He's
a hooker.
Not really, mate. I think he's...
Where else does he play?
Well, I think you could slot him into the half.
Where else does Arthur play?
We can play 5'8", he can play half. He can play as a 13 if he needs to.
wow.
He's a pretty physical kid. He's not a small kid.
I don't think he can play.
He's a
as
big
13.
kid.
I mean, he could do it, but you'd rather have Nathan Brown.
It's a high-risk play.
So if they lose Mitch, just say they lose Mitch, right?
Any team could lose a halfback.
But we've seen that Dylan Brown isn't the guy who can take charge of a team and direct it around the field. That's why he struggled at times last year.
One thing I will say, this is not nepotism. The kid, as I said, is going to be a terrific player. And I don't think Brad would be picking him each week without a tick-off from the senior leadership group. And I'm talking Mitchell Moses and I'm talking Clint Gutherson.
They've shown immense faith in
Brad
all year, those leaders.
Brad Arthur said that he may not play. He may not get on the field. Now, in a final, an elimination final, how can you afford to have a player on the bench that possibly may not even get on the field? I just don't get that.
That's key.
Well, I suppose you're back to the other 3 blokes to get the job done for you. Yeah. And he's there if you need him.
But that's a risk.
Really, you can't.
That's a high risk.
Okay.
You can't be.
Why can't I be serious?
I'll tell you.
Why can't it be serious?
I'll tell you,
It's a high-risk play.
So can I ask this question? If Bryce Cartwright's on the bench, are you saying he would definitely get on the field?
Definitely.
He would definitely get on the field.
Definitely
You
get
think
on the field.
Brady, what do they get?
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What if they lose a couple of HIAs and they start running out of troops and
Well, if they lose
And-
3, they can activate the 80th
Yeah, but
man,
I
right?
said a couple. You know, these are real battles. These finals, and you know they're very, very physical. This one will be the same. And look, I think it's a high risk play.
I think it shows that the lack of depth there too, though, right? Like, that this is their only real option. Either lack of depth in terms of outside backs or utility players. And again, I feel bad because I feel for Jacob Arthur, and I'm not by any means knocking him down. I'm just.
It's the position.
It's a big game. It's a big final, and
It's the position. It's any team playing a specialist halfback on their 4-man bench in the expectation that you've got to get your halfback taken out of the game for a certain period. I can't recall anybody having done this anywhere all season. I can't remember anybody picking a specialist halfback. I know you
Well,
can...
Jake's played on the bench before this season. Parramatta have done it.
Yeah, well...
So if
outside
it's
of
something they've done,
Parramatta-
if it's something they've
I
done
think
all
we
year,
can.
he did it last
why
week.
would you
right?
move away from?
He
He's
did it
done it
last
previous
week.
weeks
And-
as well.
And he had it last weekend.
You know, Craig.
Well, didn't end well for him.
Exactly.
Craig Fitzgibbon's done it quite a bit this year with Braden Trindle as a half on the bench, but he's got him out there and he's given him game time.
He's got
and-
more positions in him too.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yes.
That's
Braden
the key.
Trindle compared to Jake.
Well, Jake
don't
doesn't
agree
have
with
the
that.
speed to play in the outside backs.
I think you'll
Jake can
find.
play
He
hooker.
does-
I
Jake can
asked
play anywhere in the
hooker.
halves.
I
Why couldn't he
asked-
play hooker? If you lose Reid Marnie, why couldn't he slot in a dummy half and just
I
pass the
just-
ball
I
over
think
the
he
half?
He could.
He could.
Craig Fitzgibbon's of the opinion someone like Braden Trindle on the bench can also play lock. Because he's
Well,
a
so then
reasonable
Jake Arthur
size
could
unit.
play lock, right? Because Jake's
Yeah.
a bigger body than Braden Trindle.
All right, go on.
Trindle's not playing this year too. He's done.